Ladies, by now there should be more than enough evidence that says don't marry down, don't marry, don't cohabitate, don't have babies with men that are earning less than you. Just don't do it. Even when women are breadwinners, we still do more in the household. I know that the men are going to have things to say. I don't care. But at this particular juncture, the things that we do as far as making the money and then coming home and still being the majority, doing the majority of everything else in the household it's not balanced. Okay, there have been enough of these celebrity conversations to show the extremes. And I'm still going to talk about the extremes, but then I'm going to talk about the regular folks that are not a Kelly Clarkson, a Mary J. Blige, these other women that are Sherry Shepherd, these high profile women that have to pay. Halle Berry has to pay. So Kelly Clarkson felt like she was just a paycheck to ex Brandon Blackstock. She felt he abandoned the marriage. Let's talk about this a little. Kelly Clarkson's life doesn't suck without Brandon Blackstock, who seemed to break her heart piece by piece. More than 1 year after the singer's divorce from music manager was finalized, Clarkson has finally been able to move on by channeling her emotions the best way she knows how, through song. Kelly's music is her outlet, a source spilled to a news publication of the 41-year-old who spent nearly 2 years in court fighting against Blackstock after first filing to legally end the marriage in 2020. She felt like she was just a paycheck to Brandon. She felt he abandoned the marriage long before she did. So keep this in mind. Sometimes when dudes check out of marriage, they might not legally file the paperwork, but they are showing through their actions that they do not want to be in this marriage. So when men talk about women file 70 to 80% of the time, that's because a lot of times these dudes will just remain like legally married simply because they don't want to file the paperwork, even though they have mentally left the marriage. Okay, she felt he abandoned the marriage long before she did. The insider explained of Clarkson's resentment toward her former lover, who the stronger singer was forced to pay a one-time sum of 1.3 million, in addition to 45,000 monthly child support payments and $115,000 per month spousal support until January of next year. So his money train is ending soon. Despite tensions between the ex-husband and the wife, the pair must work together to raise their two children, River and Remington. Kelly has tried to be honest with her kids about why she and her dad split up without sounding bitter. So she has kids, 9 and 7. So she has young kids, and she's still paying spousal support. I don't know who has custody of the kids, but if they're splitting custody, and she's the mom. Typically, the moms, regardless of how much money they're making, are still doing more. So for her to be paying $45,000 a month is kind of outrageous to me, and it dilutes what child support is actually for. Child support is for the non-custodial parent, but like I said, I don't know the custody arrangements of these people. Okay, so it's clear that Clarkson is bitter. Obviously, she has a right to be. I do want to just keep saying and reiterating that this is an extreme case of why women shouldn't marry down. Don't marry the help. Don't marry the help, because you will end up paying. We live in a society where you're going to end up paying. And that is because the division of labor in the household is never counted for the woman. And then even when you do start paying, like you're paying out all this money, it's still not going to be balanced, because you're going to be paying him out for child support and you're still doing the work to support the child. Yes, you're going to be bitter. Yes, you're going to be stressed. Use these use these examples. Yes, they are extreme examples, but use these examples as reasons why you do not marry the help, do not marry down. A Pew Research article just came out earlier this year. It took a survey. Even breadwinner wives still do more housework than men. Breadwinner wives do more childcare. They do more of everything, even when they work equally or more, bring in more money or more. The moms still do the majority of the work. So stop going to work just to come home and do all of the unpaid labor that women typically do. All right, husbands in these so-called egalitarian marriages where they earn the same as their wives or less spend 3.5 more hours per week on leisure activities than their wives. So men, even when they are making the same as their woman that goes out to work, they still get to still do their leisure. They are not at home doing the work. Meanwhile, the women in these marriages spend a combined 4.5 more hours on caregiving and housework than their husbands. I know that I started out with the extreme, but this is like normal. Like a woman is working just the same outside the home, bringing in money outside the home, but she gets home and she's still doing the work. She's still responsible in the house. He's not taking on the care of the house or the kids. Even in marriages where women earn more, wives are spending almost 3.5 more hours per week on caregiving and household chores than their husbands, according to Pew. In other words, women may not only be bringing home the bacon, but they're also cooking the bacon and scrubbing out the pan afterwards. If you are going to do this setup where you out earn your husband, and he is the house husband, or you are doing things that are more equally as far as your bank account, as far as working outside the home, you have got to have a man that is checked into the home. Because if you end up shelling out that cash, shelling out that alimony, you still have they earned it? Women, we do earn our money. We're the ones that are organizing everything. Our unpaid labor is, you can't deny what we do inside the home. We just don't get paid for it because the value of women, the unpaid labor of women has been devalued for so long that, it's just normal that women are supposed to make all of the phone calls, are supposed to be the ones that put the kids to bed, are supposed to be the ones that take off of work when the kids get sick. What we do as far as bringing value to everybody else's life is downplayed so much so that we don't really talk about it. So that when these men are acting like, we're for equality, well, are you going to be equal in doing all of the things? Are you chopping up the onions? Are you planning out the meals? Are you cleaning anything without being told to clean? What are you doing to bring value in other ways, like women bring value in other ways? And ladies, if he is not bringing value, or alleviating some of your workload, why are you alleviating his workload? And like I said, all of the things that we bring is not quantifiable because they don't value women's labor. So stop dating down. That is my message this morning. Y'all jump in the comments.